DJ Sizdowski, something like that. He knows who he is.
Exactly. Sounds right to me.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear his question.
What's up, nerds? This is Doug from Michigan. I am currently doing a 2023 Superflex 12-team startup draft with 2024 first-round picks as draftable assets. My question is, where would you be targeting Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Marvin Harrison Jr., who are presumably going to be the 101, 102, and 103 in Superflex 2024 rookie mock drafts? Thanks.
All right, so this is similar to that league that Rich started a little while back, where you can get 2024 assets inside your draft. You can draft them right away. So, Matt, where would you be comfortable? Because you have to remember, these guys are not playing this year. So it's different than drafting, the 101, knowing that you're going to get Bijan Robinson. He's going to be on your team. You draft the 101 for 2000 or 2024.
Anything can happen.
You have to wait a year, but you also, like, the players could change. We're pretty sure it's going to be Caleb Williams. And, at this point, we have a decent idea of the class typically, but things do change. We thought Tua was going to be that guy in his class, and ended up being Joe Burrow was the guy, Right. So these things do alter and change. So we'll have to see. But where would you feel comfortable taking the top couple assets in 2024 in the startup draft?
So here I'm trying to look right now, kind of where the 2023 guys are looking in the ADP, and right now Anthony Richardson is at 112, so last pick in the first round, and it kind of starts going down from there. I think Bijan is one pick ahead of him, 111. So in that range is kind of where you have to start thinking about it, right? I mean, where do those guys line up with this year's class and stuff like that? That's kind of where I would start my barometer. I mean, obviously Bijan is Bijan. I don't think, I still think he's getting drafted ahead of the 1-1 in 2024.
Right.
But I think the conversation has to start with, is he better than Anthony Richardson? Is Caleb better than Anthony Richardson? I think from a talent standpoint and an outlook standpoint, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's at least the general consensus now. I haven't done tape study. I don't know that.
Sure.
Nothing has been done extensively. And then the next guy on the list is Bryce Young at 2.9. So I think in that range is kind of where you have to figure out where you're comfortable. Is it at the back half of the first round? Is it towards the back half of the second round, or kind of somewhere in between is where you start picking those picks? The only one that's a guarantee is going to be 1-1, that who you're going to get no matter what. It's going to be the best player. It's going to be likely a quarterback. It's going to be the best player. The 1-2 is likely going to be the other quarterback.
Either Drake May or maybe even Marvin Harrison Jr.
Maybe Marvin Harrison, but it's super flex. So you got to kind of have in your head, hey, these top two guys are going to be quarterbacks, at least in my brain. So if I'm picking third, that's when it starts getting real tricky. So for 1-1, anywhere between the last pick in the first round and the 9th or 10th pick in the second round, I feel okay with that 1-1 going there. Mm-hmm. After that, you're looking at third round somewhere for the next two, I would imagine, because they probably pop off pretty quick, thinking this could be Drake May or Marvin Harrison for both those picks. Even though right. I would think the quarterback's going to go first, you never know. That third one could also be the quarterback also.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, the end of the first round is where people might start considering it. I would be shocked if the 1-1 lasted past the midway point of the second round. Like, I don't see that happening. So my guess is probably somewhere around 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 is where people are they're going to want to get their player that they know for sure in the first round. But then in the second round, they're going to start to consider it. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked with how hyped Marvin Harrison Jr. is, and even Drake May. We're talking about all the quarterbacks in this class, And the general consensus among the NFL draft community is that the two best quarterbacks in college football were not eligible to be drafted. So most people believe that they are better than Young and Stroud and Richardson. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean better for fantasy, but better in general. So
Right.
we'll have to see. But both are good athletes as well. So I have a feeling they're going to go pretty high. So you might have to start considering them the next couple picks, even in the second round. Like all of those guys, I could see going in the second round. If Marvin Harrison, now, am I saying that you should do it in the second round? I don't know. That's a lot of risk to draft assets that you don't even know for sure what those assets are going to be yet. Like that's a lot of risk. But Marvin Harrison as a prospect, I did I do the nerd score every year, but I've kind of started doing a couple of the big name players early just to kind of see where they stack up. So I did it last summer. I did Bijan and Gibbs and kind of saw where they would stack up in the nerd score and whatnot. And I did the same thing this offseason with Marvin Harrison Jr. So a year early on Marvin Harrison Jr. And he would grade out as the highest receiver that I've done by a couple points. So that's higher than Chase and CeeDee Lamb and Devontae Smith. And, like those were, I think it was Smith, Chase, CeeDee Lamb were the top three that I've graded over the past 4 seasons. So the thought on him, and I think a lot of people probably would agree, is he is the best wide receiver prospect that we've had in the past decade. So you're probably going to have to take him in the second round as well.
I mean, as far as Marvin Harrison Jr., I watch a lot of Ohio State football, so I haven't done the kind of tape study that I would do on a prospect normally, but I have watched him in plenty of games to at least have some sort of opinion on him. And he does look like the best wide receiver I've seen in a long time that I can remember watching. Like he's at a different level than a lot of these guys.
I struggle. I remember in high school reading a prospect report. I was that kid even in high school where I would get the draft guides and I would read through all the prospects and all that kind of stuff. And I remember getting to Calvin Johnson. And it was the first time I had ever seen this in any of these draft magazines. They talk about the strengths. And so they listed all of his strengths. They listed his weaknesses. His weakness, they said, none visible. Like they couldn't find any weaknesses with Calvin Johnson. And I kind of feel like that's close to where Marvin Harrison Jr. is. Like on my first initial tape study, now I didn't do like a crazy deep dive, but there was nothing glaringly obvious about his game. Like there's other players where, man, I wish he was a little bit faster. Wish he had, more size. I wish he had better ball skills. I wish I don't see any of those issues with Marvin Harrison.
There aren't any of those issues. And the guy's work ethic is incredible. He's insane. Like he gets snubbed for something. Instead of pouting, he just goes right out and starts catching footballs off the jugs machine. You know what I mean? Like he just wants to be the best. And it's not often that you can see that kind of stuff. He's very transparent with it. And it doesn't seem like he's coming off as being cocky. You know what I mean? He's just like, I got snubbed I wasn't picked as the Blitnikoff winner. I'm going to go catch a crap load of footballs while everyone else is partying and having fun. I'm going to be in a dark gym or like a gym by myself, just working out and getting better. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the crazy mentality he has. That's what's going to make him great is those kind of things. And he already is a fantastic wide receiver. And once he gets to the pros, he's just going to get better. So I'm excited for that guy. I can't wait to see what he does. I know that I'm not going to be in position to draft him anywhere. So I'm like sad, legitimately. I'm going to start trying to make moves, I think, now for high picks. And
you're going to have to.
I know.
So let me ask you this. This is a slight tangent, so Rich would be proud. But if you today, just off the limited information you have, we're not going to hold you to it. A lot of things can change. But what wide receiver would you draft Marvin Harrison ahead of? So, I'll just throw out some names. Like Devontae Smith. Would you rather have Devontae Smith or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Marvin Harrison.
Would you rather have Jalen Waddle or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
From a talent standpoint, Marvin Harrison. I just
So, I mean, already you're basically saying he's a borderline top 5 dynasty wide receiver already.
He's probably going to, once I'm done with my tape study, I would imagine that's where he enters. He might be 3 just because he hasn't proven any, proven in the NFL. That's from a talent standpoint, that's where he belongs.